All right, Restoration, I need to milk this New Year thing just for a little bit longer. All right, we talked about goals and kind of dreams and New Year's resolutions for the past couple of weeks in terms of what we're looking forward to in 2024. But what if you and I, as Restoration Community Church, just did this? It's Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1. Paul says this. He says, "Therefore I, the prisoner of the Lord, implore you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling which you've been called." Essentially, right, if you just look at it at face value, it's like, hey, for 2024, Paul says, just do better, all right? Just do better. Walk in a manner worthy of what God's called you to do. But there's more, and it's good news. It's good news. Just before that, in Ephesians chapter 3, he says this about God. He says, "Now to him, God, who is able to do immeasurably more than we could ever imagine inside of us." Here's what Paul says. He says, "I do implore you to walk in a manner worthy of your calling." But listen to verse 2. How? With all humility and gentleness. With all humility and gentleness, with patience, showing tolerance for one another in love. Here it is. Being diligent to preserve the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Listen, for 2024 Restoration, I just want to encourage you, as Paul does, and again, I'm going to take Paul's advice for myself as well, to allow God through, like inside of me, to work out of me the spirit of gentleness and humility so that we preserve the unity inside this body of Restoration Community Church. Listen, hold me accountable to that, and I want to encourage you to do the same thing. So for 2024, we're going to walk in a manner worthy of the calling of which we've been called through the power of Christ in us, with gentleness, humility, showing tolerance for one another in love, and preserving the unity in peace. Listen, Restoration, there's so much going on, and I'm going to ask you to give me like 3 minutes or so just to remind you of some pretty important things going on as we do enter 2024. If you've ever been to Starting Point, then you know that we have annual covenant membership. Well, it's the turn of the calendar, and right now we have 0 members here at Restoration Community Church, unless you have re-signed your annual covenant. So look inside your email, the one that we have on file for you, and inside your email, you will find a link for you to sign the membership covenant for 2024. And like we said in Starting Point, that is, hey, as far as you can tell, you know, unless you move, unless God calls you to do something different, but as far as you can tell today, Restoration is where he's called you to call home. And for 2024, just gives us an idea of who we're accountable for and who's with us on mission here at Restoration. So check out your email and sign the annual covenant if you've already been through Starting Point and if you've signed that covenant before. Now, if you have not been through Starting Point, which is our, kind of new perspective, new members class, we say it's a fuel or a filter. That is coming up in February. First Sunday in February, there'll be a link below the video to show you how you can sign up for that. That'll be your next step if you've never signed an annual covenant before. But if you have, check your email, sign up for 2024. Excited to see what God's going to do through you and this ministry here this year. Hey, also remember, Grief Share is starting this week. I want to encourage you, if you are walking through a season of grief or have been for some time, maybe this is for you. It is simply an opportunity for you to kind of once a week meet with folks who are going through the same season of life to find some biblical encouragement through this season of loss and grief for you. So I want to encourage you to do that as well. Hey, Restoration, listen, looking forward to Kingdom Church launching their first ever service. If you're not familiar with that, that is our first ever church plant, right? That we're birthed right out of Restoration. They are meeting in Nexton. All the information will be below the video as well. But remember, if you plan on attending their first ever service this week, I would ask you, number one, thank you for your heart of generosity. Thank you for your heart of support. Continue to pray for them. But if you go, please try to bring your kids inside the worship time with you. They only have like 3 classes for childcare, and we don't want to overload their system because it would potentially create a barrier for legitimate first-time visitors who might be right there going to Nexton to hear the gospel maybe for the first time. So what we want to do is we just want to encourage, right? So we're going to encourage from afar through prayers and through text, emails, whatever. But if you do go to worship with their service this week, please don't overload their childcare system. Just go worship, encourage, bring your family with you, or worship from afar. But just keep that in mind. All right, listen, Restoration, love you guys. Excited for 2024. Looking forward to week number 2 of our study of the book of James for Life Hacks 2024. You will be blessed this week. I'll see you on Sunday. And don't forget, your mission.